Hello everyone, welcome to the PhD defense for my presentation titled Efficient Washing of Papergrade Pulp in the Kraft Process. Uh, the thesis summarizes of 5 papers, out of which 3 of them are published and 2 of them are ready to be submitted. The PhD project is part of an industrial graduates tool called Resource Smart Process, which is collaborated with industries, academia, and the other agencies. When we look into the sustainable development goals, which are 17, where the project, my PhD project focuses on goal number 9, which is sustainable industrialization through innovation and efficient infrastructure, and as well as on goal number 12, in order to responsible production through resource efficiency and reduced waste. So the figure here shows the representation of modern Kraft pulp mill. My area of PhD study will focus on Brownstock washing, which is after the Kraft cooking. However, I will now go through the brief introduction of the fiber line one by one. When we look into the Kraft pulping process, wood chips are coated with white liquor, and then the objective is to selectively remove lignin from the wood. The products from it are Brownstock pulp and as well as the black liquor. The key reaction which involves a bit of linkages in lignin. And when we look into the delignification rate, and it takes place in 3 stages: initial, bulk, and residual, where the relative rate is moderate with initial stage, fast with bulk, and then very slow at the end at the residual stage. Coming to the Brownstock washing, as I mentioned, it's after the Kraft cooking in order to remove the residual black liquor present, which are spent chemicals and as well as the dissolved lignin from pulp after cooking. And it's a key operation which improves recovery, bleaching efficiency, pulp quality, and as well as environmental performance. And in industry, it acts as a multi-stage countercurrent washing process. And the illustration here shows the location where the Brownstock washers are located in the fiber line. And it is also to be noted that in the mills which have oxygen delignification stage, the liquor comes from it in order to wash the pulp in the Brownstock washing. And looking into the pulp washing, there are 2 ways of washing which can be done. One, which is dilution followed by separation, where the pulp along with the original liquor is mixed with the wash liquor, followed by filtration or separation process. The other one can be displacement washing, where the pulp along with the original liquor is displaced with wash liquor over the time in a piston-like movement. Oxygen delignification is a subsequent stage after Brownstock washing, and it's performed under alkaline environment with high temperature and pressure. Selectively removes around 40 to 60% of residual lignin, lowers kappa number before bleaching. It also improves overall pulp yield and quality, lowers bleaching chemical demand and environmental impact. And it is also to be noted that magnesium sulfate is added in the oxygen delignification stage in order to reduce the cellulose degradation. When we look into the research gap, the research so far has largely emphasized on equipment configuration, dilution factor, mass transfer efficiency, and as well as on process optimization. Limited attention has been given to ion-specific interactions, understanding the role of chemical environment, storage and temperature efforts, and as well as on mechanisms governing lignin redeposition in detail. As a result, the mechanistic basis of lignin redeposition during Brownstock washing remains insufficiently understood. When we look into the current work, the aim and objectives of it, the aim is to understand how lignin is removed, diffuses, and redeposited during Brownstock washing under different conditions. The main objectives were to evaluate the effect of wash liquor composition in Brownstock washing, and also to understand what does the storage conditions and operating parameters influence in lignin leaching from pulp fibers, as well to understand the mechanisms and controlling factors governing lignin redeposition during pulp washing. Following the thesis structure will be divided into 3 parts as mentioned in the objectives. Now, looking into the part 1, is based on the paper 1, where spruce wood chips were subjected to Kraft cooking, followed by fiber disintegration, and then extensive washing was performed at 10 stages of washing with residence time of 20 minutes, and then with the overall dilution factor of 20, where neutral and alkaline solutions were selected for the washing, and the washing was performed in Buchner funnel. Looking into the Hofmeister series, which is one of the important part of this study. Hofmeister series is a ranking of ions based on the ability to stabilize or destabilize macromolecules and colloids in aqueous solution. As we can see, the osmotropic ions are the ones left to the chloride and sodium present in this figure. And osmotropic ions strongly hydrate ions. Hydrated ions promotes hydrophobic interactions, decrease lignin solubility, and as well as promote lignin aggregation and redeposition. Whereas chiotropic ions, weakly hydrated ions, disrupt water structure, and also it promotes salting and solubility. I'm introducing this as the base of selecting the wash liquors were based on Hofmeister series and as well as with industrial relevance. When we look into the table here, these are the type of wash liquors which were used in the study with the parameters mentioned. deionized water and other electrolytes were considered neutral. And then for the alkaline ones, tap water, washing liquor, and then white liquor were used. When we look into the result here, which shows the lignin concentration over different washing stages, we could see that deionized water performing better than all the other salt solutions. And it was clear that washing with high ionic strength and high concentration salts, it adversely affected the washing efficiency. Looking into the alkaline, when we wash with alkaline solutions, initially at stage 0, tap water removed more lignin, followed by with stage 1 to 3, washing liquor performed better, and then from stage 4 to 10, it was white liquor removing more. Looking into the results here, which is like the brightness and the kappa number for the pulp after washing. The arrow here shows like before and after washing, and it was for the neutral solutions, and it followed the same trend as that of liquor concentration in the liquor discharge, where deionized water performing better than in the order of then sodium chloride and then sodium sulfate, and as well we could say sodium sulfate showed a stronger effect salting out behavior than chloride in terms of Hofmeister series. And then when we look into the alkaline washing, we could see increase in brightness with white liquor high compared to tap water and as well as washing liquor. In order to summarize the part 1, high ionic strength liquor did affect the washing performance. Sulfate ions showing a stronger salting out behavior. It promoted stronger hydrophobic interaction than chloride. And deionized water performed well for the neutral conditions, while white liquor performs washing under alkaline conditions better in terms of brightness and kappa number. And as well as ion strength and ion specific efforts influence Brownstock washing efficiency. And coming to the part 2 is based on paper 2 and as well as paper 5. In order to study the effect of storage conditions on Brownstock washing, the idea for it were that why not use industrial pulp, and then we were like discussing why let's do a study with storage conditions, how it affects. So it was a fresh pulping, like starting with spruce wood chips subjected to Kraft pulping with the cooking conditions, and then the Brownstock which were produced from it were divided into 3 sample groups, where one was unrinsed and the other one was rinsed with cold water at 5 degrees Celsius, and the third one was rinsed with warm water at 40 degrees Celsius. And then they were subjected to storage at 2 different temperatures, 5 and 60, and then over 2 different time intervals, 24 hours and 1 week. before washing. And then 2 washing stages were performed with residence time of 10 minutes and dilution factor of 20 with the Buchner funnel. The washing experiments were conducted. And when we look into the liquor discharge, which were obtained for all the washing experiments, the lignin concentration were measured using UV spectrometer, and for the 3 sample groups, when they were stored at cold treatment, we could see more lignin present in the liquor if we store the pulp for a longer time, which was seen even for the hot treatment, where the lignin concentration were high in the liquor discharge. And it was the efforts were confirmed when we look into the efforts on kappa number, where for the storage temperature at 5 degrees Celsius, it was limited. Whereas when we stored the pulp for at 60 degrees Celsius, the kappa number decrease were more than 5 degrees Celsius, which confirms the efforts of storage time and temperature on kappa number. And then molecular weight of lignin were seen on the liquor discharges for all the samples. And when we look into the cold treatment ones for all 3 samples, we could see increase in molecular weight over the time it was stored. Longer the time it was stored, more molecular weight was seen. Even for the hot treatment, it was seen the same, where the low molecular weight leaches out first, followed by high molecular weight lignin follows, except for the final sample, which was rinsed with warm water at 40 degrees Celsius, where it was due to the pH change affecting the lignin behavior. And then we can look into the paper 5, which was to study the lignin leaching from pulp fibers under different conditions. Here, the unbleached pulp from industry were used. They were suspended in a pulp wash liquor with deionized water and alkaline to separate experiments with 3 different leaching temperature, which were 30 degrees Celsius, 60 and 90. The leached out liquor from the beaker were over the time intervals were used in order to measure lignin concentration from it. And then the leached pulp were then further washed with 1 liter of deionized water in order to further do the analysis. When you look into the determination of lignin concentration in the liquor filtrates, which were collected, we could see that the time and temperature influence the lignin concentration, and then with higher temperature, the lignin leaches out faster from the fiber wall, and more lignin concentration was seen at alkaline conditions than deionized water. And coming to the effect of neutral and alkaline lignin leaching on kappa number, we could see where the initial kappa number was 34, and then with neutral leaching, we had like a small reduction in kappa number going till 28 for the 90 degrees Celsius leaching. With comparison to alkaline leaching, it resulted in greater decrease in kappa number compared to the neutral ones, and the kappa number did go till low to 24 at 90 degrees Celsius leaching. And in order to summarize the paper 2, based on the 2 papers, storage temperature and time significantly influence lignin diffusion and as well as washing efficiency. We could see low molecular lignin diffusing first, followed by high molecular weight lignin. High temperature enhances lignin diffusion and release from fiber walls. Alkaline conditions improve lignin removal compared to deionized water. Looking to the part 3 was based on paper number 3 and as well as paper number 4, where we studied about lignin redeposition. Coming to the paper 3, lignin reattachment to pulp fibers during Brownstock washing with the role of sodium sulfate was studied, where 3 different types of pulp were selected, unbleached pulp, bleached pulp, and content letters, and all of them were obtained, and then followed by washing with filtrate A and filtrate B, where the filtrate A was the industrial liquor from SCA, and filtrate B was the same filtrate A with the supplement of sodium sulfate in it. The washing performed was 1-stage washing with the residence time of 10 minutes, and with the dilution factor of 19, and they were performed in a lab in a Buchner funnel. And looking into the results, when we determine the lignin concentration in the liquor filtrates, these are like three different pulp lignin and liquor discharges. When they were washed with filtrate A and filtrate B, we could see more lignin and liquor discharges when washed with filtrate A, and then the order was where more lignin was seen in liquor discharge with cotton linters, followed by bleached pulp and then the unbleached pulp. Whereas when we look into the alkali leached lignin from the pulp, we could see the more concentration when washed with filtrate B, indicating that more lignin is attached when washed with filtrate B, where with the addition of extra sodium sulfate. And coming to the mechanism, redeposition on different pulp types. As we know, cotton linters is solely of cellulose, which are crystalline with minimal hydrophobic surfaces. Bleached pulp, which contains amorphous hemicellulose, more exposed to hydrophobic groups, and also like with trace amount of lignin covalently bond. When we look into the unbleached pulp, contains hemicellulose and residual lignin bound to fibers via lignin carbohydrate complexes. So during washing, the fibers are exposed to lignin degradation products and other organic matter containing apolar structures. And then the interactions were hydrophobic and aromatic, where the lignin redeposition were high with unbleached pulp, followed by bleached pulp, and then the cotton linters. And looking to the paper number 4, as part of part 3, the role of pH and the influence of divalent cations. Magnesium ion on lignin redeposition was studied. Magnesium ion, as it's one of the chiotropic salt ion, and as well as it's present in the system. That's the reason magnesium ion was selected in it. And then when we look into the study how it was performed, unbleached pulp were obtained from the industry, and then the liquor L1, L2, L3, as we shown here, the liquors were from different stages of industry. They were used in order to mix with the pulp, and then they were like sealed and then sealed in a plastic cover, and then placed in a water bath at a temperature of 90 degrees Celsius and time of 30 minutes. And then they were dewatered, and 2 stages of washing or 2 cycles of washing was performed, where one washing cycle involved where the pulp were suspended in a plastic vessel with a 1 liter deionized water at 80 degrees Celsius, and they were stirred for 2 minutes, followed by dewatering, and then displacement washing of with 1 liter deionized water at 70 degrees Celsius was performed. And then alkaline leaching on the pulp were also performed with 1 gram of OD pulp, which were suspended in an alkaline solution of 100 ml at 80 degrees Celsius. And then kappa number, brightness, and alkali leached lignin were analyzed in this study. Looking into the efforts of pH at constant composition on lignin removal and reattachment. So the L3, the liquor with the larger lignin was selected, and they were modified with the addition of sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid addition in order to like increase the pH and as well as decrease and see the effects in brightness and kappa number, and as well as on alkali leached lignin. Here, as we can see, when we compare the base case L3 to the when we increase the pH, we could see the decrease in kappa number of 0.9 units with sodium hydroxide addition, and as well as 1.5 units increase when we lowered to pH 12 and then followed the procedure. And if we look into the brightness difference, it was 2%, and then the leached lignin difference were around 1 milligram per gram of pulp when we compare with the base case L3 to the lower pH 12. And it was clear that with the modification of pH going down, we could see higher reattachment in terms of higher kappa number and reduction in brightness values. Looking into the efforts of alkali addition on lignin removal and reattachment, the figure 2 liquors were selected, which were L3, which were from the digester bottom with the higher lignin content, and then L2 were from the pressure diffuser outlet. And they were modified with addition of sodium hydroxide in the concentration of 2, 5, and 10 gram per liter. We could see brightness improving 1.5% of units with L2 modification, and then 0.8% with for L3, and the kappa number reduction was around 0.9 units for L3 and 0.5 units for L2. These are all like the comparison between like without the addition of sodium hydroxide and the maximum addition of sodium hydroxide, which was 10 gram per liter. And looking into the alkali leached lignin, we could see a decrease of 0.5 milligrams per pulp in L3 and 0.4 decrease in L2. Overall, we could see that addition of sodium hydroxide to L2 and L3 shows same trend with decrease in kappa number and increase in brightness. Looking into the efforts of divalent cations on lignin removal and reattachment, focusing on magnesium ions. Liquor 2 was selected, and then looking into the brightness over the kappa number and as well as alkali leached lignin over the kappa number, we could, and the addition of magnesium sulfate were at the concentration of 1, 3, and 10 gram per liter. With overfeed, we could see increase in lignin reattachment, seeing increase in kappa number and then decrease in brightness, and the kappa number increases were around 1.5 units. And it is also to be noted multiple phenomena may be occurring as magnesium hydroxide precipitation reduces pH. And in order to summarize the part 3, unbleached pulp showed the highest lignin redeposition, followed by bleached Kraft pulp, while cotton linters showed the lowest. Lignin redeposition increased with the addition of sodium sulfate. Lower pH promoted lignin redeposition, leading to higher kappa numbers and lower brightness. Sodium hydroxide did reduce lignin redeposition, and magnesium ion promoted redeposition, but mainly in higher concentrations, greater than 3 gram per liter when we were adding it to the wash liquor. In order to conclude, Brownstock washing is governed by 3 mechanisms, which are diffusion-controlled lignin transport, lignin stability in wash liquor, and as well as lignin fiber surface interactions. Liquor chemistry strongly influences lignin removal. High ionic strength and sulfate-rich liquors promote lignin deposition, which was seen. Alkali stabilizes dissolved lignin, improving washing efficiency. Mass transport limitations, storage time, and temperature did affect lignin diffusion and removal. I would like to acknowledge my supervisors, co-authors, industrial participants, and as well as the funding agencies, to my colleagues from Fiber and Polymer Technology, and to my family and friends for their support during my PhD. Thank you all for listening.